Hello guys, good evening. Welcome to yet another video. So this video will be more of about a weekly recap, a routine recap, talking about what I expected for the week and the outcome. And I'll be journaling everything in my Notion, my journal. I use Notion for journal. And that is just pretty. Then tomorrow we'll be doing our weekly forecast, what we'll be looking for this new week. But tomorrow we will not trading because tomorrow is a bank holiday. So tomorrow I'll just be doing the video on weekly forecast. So without wasting much of your time, let's just jump on the chat and talk about what actually happened for this week. So this is the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame we're actually using. We can see that there is a fair value gap here on the weekly time frame. I was expecting price to definitely come to this weekly fair value gap. Then we'll probably still look for lower prices if price is still going down, because currently market is still bearish for the weekly time frame. Despite the fact that we're sitting on a yearly fair value gap, we can't just trade up to buys because market is still very bearish in the lower time frame. So before we start looking for buy, we must definitely see the transition in order flow, of which is not here yet. So for now, we still keep selling. So the weekly time frame is very easy. We saw this fair value gap, market greater than that fair value gap, like I said, and we're expecting price. I was expecting price to come up and probably give lower prices. But before price should come up, you tend to look at a lower time frame. Lower time frame, we can see that before price actually got to this weekly fair value gap, there is still a daily fair value gap here, of which I mentioned. Let me try and remove this from this. Yeah, there is kind of like a fair value gap here, and since there's a fair value gap, we see that market actually came into the fair value gap and gave this low price, like market is rejecting this fair value gap. So I was like, okay, since there's a huge retracement back to the daily fair value gap, I want to see 1 hour, a 4-hour time frame. I want to see fair value gaps to the downside, of which we actually saw. And that was on Thursday while I was dropping the video. I did a video on Thursday. Okay, this is it. So market actually entered the daily fair value gap and gave huge rejection from the daily fair value gap, causing 4-hour fair value gaps. So I tend to draw out this stuff for this fair value area. That say that, okay, if two things, if market should come to this liquidity before going back, this is invalid because market has actually got into contest first before retracing back. This will be invalid. But since markets didn't actually take out our liquidity, but coming to this level, we can still look for sell in the US dollar. But the caveat now is that when market was actually coming in, that was on Thursday. It's actually in the previous video, so you can literally watch and understand what I'm trying to say. Market was actually coming in with huge momentum to this our level here. These are 4-hour fair value gap. Yeah, market actually came into our level with this 4-hour fair value gap. So one or two things, I was like, okay, if we're still going to look for sell, we're going to wait for market to disrespect this fair value gap first before we start looking for sales. In the sense that this first candle that came into the fair value gap is actually a huge rejection. And if I want to look for more sales, I will have to look for a candle close below these lows here to invalidate this fair value gap. Then you go to your 1-hour time frame. This was when the market actually closed below, causing a fair value gap here. So I was like, okay, we're still going to be looking for lower prices. Since this stuff has been invalidated, so we're looking for lower prices. So same things happened. So I wanted to buy the pound because I feel the pound is actually stronger than the euros. I wanted to buy the pound, but I didn't actually buy the pound. The reason I'm going to explain to you guys later, because let me just explain it now though. I was looking for price, like I said earlier on. Price actually, let me delete this. Price actually created this fair value area. And I was like, okay, if we want to look for buy, it's either price should give another, because if you look at this place very well, price actually gave 15 minutes fair value gap here, and we're expecting price to come to this level. So I said, Either price should give me another fair value gap from this place like this, then I'll look for buys over here, or I'll wait for price to come down to this higher level to look for buy. The only reason I didn't actually buy this was because market is just so volatile these days. The huge momentum price used in coming into our level, it didn't make me buy. I lost confidence in the setup. Just to be truthful, I actually lost confidence because I was not expecting this huge momentum creating another fair value gap here. That's why I didn't actually buy. I was like, okay, let me just sit and watch the market unfold. Let me not just buy. But ideally, if I should go with my plan, and I actually bought though. But I closed on time because I was risking 2%. My normal risk tolerance is actually 1%, but I was risking 2%. So when market was actually going to my favor, I was like, okay, that's nice. But when I was seeing a little bit of drawdown, closed the trade. Closed the trade for about $300 profits. I closed the trade because sometimes you see so many people saying something about have confidence in your trade, have confidence in your strategy, have confidence in that. I tend to believe that if you really want to gain lots of confidence when seeing price against you, it's just the amount you're risking. That is risk tolerance. Because if you don't have the mental capacity to see huge money going against you, I won't advise you to risk too much, because that can literally mess with your patience, mess with your psychology, mess with everything when it comes to trading. So if you're actually risking 0.5 and you feel comfortable risking 0.5, whereby you'll be on a trade and you feel at peace, I would just say stick to it rather than open up your risk. And when you're seeing a little bit of drawdown, your emotions will be all over the place. This was what actually messed me up on this trade. If I was in the trade for about 1%, I wouldn't have panicked and closed the trade while I was seeing huge move against me. So that is one thing I'll actually try and make a whole video about, and just talk about just that alone. Risk tolerance, accepting of risk. Even when you accept risk, you need the 1 hour time frame. I was supposed to enter the 1 hour time frame from this level, which was a good move. Supposed to enter from this level, then cover these lows, then I'll be targeting this highs here. That's 2%. This was the trade I was supposed to take. This was the swing trade I was supposed to take, but I didn't take the trade. I took the trade, but I left on time. Reason because of what I actually said. That's why I left. But that being said, this is just what actually happened this week. Then probably the next video we'll be talking more about what we'll be looking for this new week. But I'm still leaning bearish. Why? Because why I'm still leaning bearish is simply because of we're now saying this price actually invalidated this fair value gap. So I'll take it off the screen. So if you go to your 1 hour time frame, we're still expecting lower prices, at least to this lows or to this lows. So if price still wants to go up, price needs liquidity to push higher. So you see that price should sweep these lows, this one, or these lows here. Price should sweep, and we'll see change in order flow, because the daily time frame is still sitting in this yearly fair value gap. When price should come into fair value gaps, either you must definitely see a reaction. Even if we're not seeing more of bullish prices, there should be a reaction from this fair value gap. And this fair value gap can be the cause of the retracement back to this weekly fair value gap. So daily fair value gap, daily time frame now, market is still bearish, but the market has not created another fair value gap. So order flow is still bearish. Not until either market sweeps this low and if market should create fair value gap again, we can see while trying to, it's now 50-50. We're now starting to see like a shift. If the new fair value gap now, for example, like if market should do this, for example, creating fair value gap here, and we'll say, okay, now it's 50-50. If market should create another fair value gap again, now we'll say, okay, order flow is now confirmed in the daily time frame. But mind you, the weekly time frame, the order flow is still bearish. Like I said in my previous video, If you want to see transition in order flow, it tends to start from the lower time frame down to the higher time frame, because the higher time frame can just move once. It's have to like slowly move. Like for example, let me use this car example. If you're driving a car and train as well, you see the way trains are actually long. It takes longer time for a train to actually bend than a car, because cars are actually small. It's just like a few minutes you're done. But when you're on the train, it will take longer time for the train to turn. That is just same thing as the lower time frame and the higher time frame. The higher time frame, when it wants to shift order flow, it takes longer time because it's higher time frame, but the lower time frame can easily shift order flow because it's actually small. So that adjusted. So the next video, like I said, we'll be talking about the weekly forecast for this week, and the pairs we're going to be looking at. I have some interesting pairs I'll be looking at rather on the process. Yes, not this. Like the CHF JPY now, I'm leaning more of bullish because of where price is actually doing currently in the weekly time frame. I'm actually targeting this highs here and this fair value gap because of the monthly time frame. You see the monthly time frame, this is the swing high, and the swing high is actually aligning with this fair value gap and the swing high. Market is actually reacting from the swing high. But rather, I will dive more on what I'll be looking for, the pairs I've been trading for this week, what I'm waiting for are the days I'll be trading. So guys, thanks for actually watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so when I drop more videos, you'll be the first to know. That is about it. Thank you and bye.